Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman and I talk about all things horror. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little tired. But I'm going to keep going. This time I'm talking about the 1986, I believe, Tobe Hooper remake of Invaders from Mars. This, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a Canon Pictures. Golan and Globulus, or however the fuck they say it, Canon picture. So fair warning. It's not a trauma film, so it's not gonna traumatize you, but it's gonna make you think. This movie's gonna make you think, and I think that's a good thing. So first time I watched Invaders from Mars, I was in grade school. I don't remember which grade I was in, but I know I was fairly young. This was one of the earlier horror movies I watched as a kid. And it scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid. I watch it now as an adult, and I still find it scary. This is a scary movie, you know? So, this is a remake of a sci-fi movie from the 50s, I believe. So, if you've seen the original, this is essentially the same movie, just in color this time around, I guess. I don't know if the original was in color or not, but we'll go with it because that's all I know about it. So you have this little boy who has a telescope in his backyard and likes to look up at the sky, and he sees a shooting star, and it turns out it's a spaceship, and it lands in his backyard. And the aliens body snatch his parents and start to spread. It's kind of like the faculty in Invasion from the Body Snatchers. They start to spread through the school and abducting the teachers and the townspeople and the cops and the military, etc. And the little boy is like privy to what's going on while all the adults are getting body snatched. And then, of course, he recruits some adult allies who are skeptical at first, but then when he shows them the aliens, they believe him. And then they recruit the military and go to war with the Martians. And that's the gist of the movie. Without spoiling it too much. I'll say a lot of iconic imagery, but a lot of stereotypical sci-fi horror imagery. So, the Martians look like giant Mr. Potato Heads. The spaceship looks like your typical everyday UFO. The military guys act just like stereotypical movie military jerks. Hold on, I'm trying to fix my. There we go. I hesitate to call this a B movie. I think it's a little bit better than a B movie, and I'm not even sure if it's a cult classic. I don't know if this movie has a following or not because I've never really come across anybody else in the horror community who talks about it. Sci-fi fans will mention it in passing whenever they're talking about remakes. Usually in the either remakes are okay, here's proof of it, or remakes suck, and likewise here's proof, depending on what they thought of the film. So I have never really encountered too many horror fans who are familiar with this movie. And the reason why I say I believe it is possibly classified as a cult classic is because when I bought the DVD in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere in there. It was under the label Midnight Movies, under that banner, and so that's usually reserved for cult classics and B movies. I don't consider it a B movie. I consider it a good movie. I like it. I love it, in fact. I haven't seen a lot of cosmic horror per se. Um, and I have seen some, but not a lot of sci-fi horror because I'm not a fan of blending genres unless they're done really well. I hesitate to call this one horror. This is sci-fi. This is pure sci-fi at its best. It just happens to be scary. I don't know if I would consider it horror though, because it's like, I mean, yeah, it's got monsters and aliens and, killing and scary scenes and scary imagery and a woman eating a frog. So to me, it has all the earmarks of a horror movie, a classic scary movie, sure. But when I think of horror movies, when I'm making my list of horror movies, or when I'm reminiscing horror, or when I'm talking horror, this movie doesn't pop in my head. So as a sci-fi movie, it's fucking fantastic. As a horror movie, though, I don't know. I don't know. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. I recommend it as a buy. I think you should own this movie. Um, but more for your sci-fi collection than your horror collection. And this isn't really a sci-fi channel. This is a horror channel. I mean, yeah, I could just do a move. I could just do movies in general, but if I did, like 75% of them would be horror anyways, and the rest would be sci-fi fantasy because that's literally all I watch. But I decided to make it a horror channel specifically because I'm more into horror by and large than anything else. And there's a fucking bajillion fucking movie channels out there and pop culture channels, etc., etc. Plus, horror trans rolls off the tongue. Horror, what? Movies or what would I call trans movies? What would I call a movie? A generic movie channel. I don't know. Whatever. So I'm rambling now, and you probably turn this video off. So yeah, this is a buy. You need this movie in your collection. That's all I gotta say.